Hello, everybody. This is Atropa Everwood, back again. And wait, hold on, that's not right. Okay. Yeah, anyways. And I guess this is actually my first stream in like almost a week. Well, I was kind of busy over the weekend. I had a bunch of stuff come up. Mainly a chance to sell stuff to make money, but you know how that is. So I was feeling a bit like super, like completely like out of it on Monday and on Tuesday. I may have actually spent all day Tuesday sitting in bed binging books. Or actually, no, binging web novels. But, okay, binging bad translations of web novels. Maybe. Actually, no, I would never admit to that. But it is what it is. But today, we're going to be doing more fashion drawing. Well, not more fashion drawing. We're doing the fashion drawing that I was supposed to be doing Wednesday when I got sick. Am I doing something wrong in life? No, it's not me. It's everybody else who's at fault. So I guess today we're going to be doing what I was planning on doing in the first place, which is drawing a robe à la française. Sorry if my pronunciation's absolutely horrible, but... Oh, wait, yeah, wait, crap, I need to turn off the emotes only thing. Yeah, I apologize in advance if my pronunciation's absolutely horrible. I don't speak French. All I can really do is pre-game, so then I start slurring my words, and I'm pretty sure that's how you're supposed to speak French. I'm not doing it right, though. I'm drinking beer today instead of wine. Ironic. Actually, I really should be drinking wine for the French themed stream. Actually, it's almost kind of funny. I mean, I've been doing these fashion history streams for how long? And this is like the first time I've focused on French fashion specifically. I mean, I could also do some more modern fashions at some point. I might have to instead of just doing history stuff, but ironically, modern fashion I'm not nearly as good at. But in modern French fashions might be interesting. Ooh, it might be fun doing like, well, actually no, for October I should focus on, actually no, this isn't spooky. Crap, what are some spooky fashions I could do? What would be spooky in the world of fashion? That's actually a very good question. Actually, no. I believe last year, or was it this spring, Dior's Haute Couture collection was focused on tarot. I believe I even mentioned that. Oh, Baroque? No, what we're doing is late Rococo today. No, Baroque isn't just a music genre. It's music, art, fashion, architecture, everything. Actually, on YouTube, it's like one of my favorite series to watch. There's one channel that's been buying the rights and putting up a bunch of art history documentaries. Which he has one that covers, well, he has a couple that cover the Baroque. I mean, I remember pretty sure in fashion history class, professor even showed a bit of the stream. No, not the stream. It's the thing. But okay, showed a bit of the documentary explaining Baroque and Rococo. Like talking about how Baroque is pretty much its loan word kind of from Portuguese for a misshapen pearl, while Rococo means shell work, because Rococo went pretty out there with embellishment and pink and ruffles and embroidery and weaving and everything. Yeah, I remember the documentary with the guy talking about it. He's on a ship. He's like, here's where Baroque comes from. And she has a little misshapen pearl. And here's Rococo. And he just pulls up a chunk of seashells. because Rococo is very, very over the top. I mean, one example, okay, for an American example, because I mean, everybody thinks about Europe when they think Baroque and Rococo, but they don't realize that these art movements make it over down to America, or all the way out here to the New World. But if you're familiar with those like American Pennsylvania long rifles, those would be like if you look at the high end ones that were made in the day, those likely could be considered a example of a Baroque art. I mean, no, not Baroque, Rococo. I mean, they have the engraving. They have like the shell work usually carved into it. Some of them can be very fancy. Let's see, and spine should be right here. Okay, and this is going to be... Okay, and this one I'm actually going to use 2 sheets of paper because we're going to need room for actually showing how fancy these can be. Okay, and décolletage, I guess I don't need to put too much detail into it because, I mean, I'm showing the underwear first because the underpinnings are incredibly fascinating in their own way. Actually, I probably should double check what the underpinnings look like. Oh yeah, it's at least Colt, if not both. Colt was huge on... Samuel Colt, like his big thing was merchandising and getting his brand name out there into public. He was very big on that. Okay. Pardon me for double checking what underwear looks like. But I suppose if it's this, we probably should make sure that her underwear isn't peeking out. Because that would be bad. So, I believe this is what our model should just be standing there. And actually, her proportions don't matter that much. This sounds stupid, but bear with me. So she'll be wearing... we'll literally put her in an A pose. Belly button right there. Arms right there. And like right there. And if she has a chest, that doesn't matter because she's going to be wearing stays. Which, these aren't corsets. They're known as stays or bodies at the time because corset actually means little body, which is interesting. I mean, nowadays we call them corsets. And the interesting thing about corsets at the time, you actually had to be a member of the Tailors Guild to make them. Women were not allowed to make corsets. Of course, naturally she's wearing a chemise underneath this. So you'd have your corset, or crap, I shouldn't have said that. Corset. But yeah, no. And plus, I mean, making these corsets, you had to be really strong actually to make them. Because they were made with whalebone, actually. I guess they have this almost peplum sort of look. So like this would pretty much just be full of different channels. That would be just filled with strips of baleen, whalebone. Actually, it's like from... Yeah, no. Women were not allowed to make corsets or boned garments at the time. Because the official, like, court dress of, like, since Louis the 14th was all baleen, like, was all boned, too. So that was a lot of money for the Tailors Guild. And, of course, there are different ways that the different dressmakers guilds found ways around it, too. Women weren't allowed to make heavily tailored garments and everything, but they can make the stuff that goes over them. So like the, for example, the robe à la française is not a boned garment, so a woman dressmaker can make everything that goes over it. But of course, the corset isn't the only important part. The corset is an interesting part of it. Not stays. Now I'm saying corset too, because I've been doing too much Victorian fashion. But the really interesting part that everybody thinks of when they think of a robe à la française, or when they think of like pre-revolution France and in general, is the panniers. I'm probably mispronouncing that too. Which were, they could be stuffed, but they often were made with a boning. And if you want to hear really decadent, crap, where's my eraser? The most decadent part about these panniers is the pocket space. I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but people complain nowadays about women's clothing not having pockets. It was the exact opposite. On like some panniers, you could literally fit like a whole small-sized dog in one. It was, I mean, it's impressive, actually. Oh, and actually the decadence of court dress was actually on purpose. That there's actually political reason for that. So, I mean, robe à la française, not so much, but court official grand habit. Oh, hello, Sorrel. I guess hello, everybody else, too. Sarsood, Private Pepper, you know, Attenborough, and everybody else who's here. But I believe it was a Louis the 14th. There's so many Louis, it's hard to keep track of them all. I am not an expert on French history, and don't ever mistake me for one. I just find the clothing interesting. But he felt his nobles were getting a bit too independently minded. I mean, and like possibly looking for rebellion. I believe he actually put down at least one rebellion in his time as a king. So he created a new system where he would require nobles to spend a certain amount of time at court. And if you're at court, you have to wear the official court dress, which of course had to be made from specific fabrics and specific laces in order to be able to be at court. And of course, you'd have to keep up with the different fashions, so you'd have to constantly buy new ones of lace, which lace was worth its weight in gold at the time, and expensive French-made brocades. So not only is it so not only are you funding the textile industries and the lace-making industries, you're pretty much making all your lords spend their money. So they don't have the time and money to fund their armies or spend their time in their territories away from the eye of the king to plot rebellion. against against the king. So pretty much it was all a complicated effort to hamstring his potential political opponents by making everything about fashion. They have to spend a certain amount of time every year at Versailles. They have to, as lords. And then, as part of that time at Versailles, they have to dress in very expensive fabrics. And of course, they're surrounded by fellow lords. They don't want the other ones one-upping them. So they're obligated to spend more time there, spend all their money on fashion and other expensive luxuries. So they have no money to put towards overthrowing the king or breaking off and creating their own governments or anything else, because they're too busy with petty infighting. Which is why Louis XIV, Louis XV, and everything were able to become absolute monarchs. If you remember your French history, France was anything but unified for most of the Middle Ages to modern. So, Louis XIV, the Sun King. Please tell me Louis XIV is the Sun King, or else I'll look absolutely stupid. Sorry. Using my extended brain to double check that. Just because I know I'm right, but I don't want to seem that, getting that wrong would be absolutely embarrassing. Like, just imagine doing a fashion history stream and can't get basic things right. Okay, so this is pretty much the understructure of the robe a la française. This is obviously a very modest one. Look at how small those panniers are. It would only come out to about here, maybe. Let me try and get some of this extra stuff. And let's tweak a few. Oh yeah, the chemise should be, well, actually no, it should be a low-cut chemise because it's a robe a la française. You want to show a little bit of that décolleté. I'm throwing French-sounding words in here, but again, don't mistake me for understanding what any of it means. And let's give her hair will be down. She hasn't had a Marchand La Mode come yet. Oh, the history of like the Marchands La Mode, or Marchand La, like of pretty much the original like fashion designers in a way. They're more stylists, if anything, but okay. Like the history of that all is super interesting. I mean, these dresses are expensive, but one thing you can do to sort of tweak them is change the embellishments on them, the ribbons, change what you're wearing with it, all that kind of stuff. So actually, they're more like haberdashers. They sold notions and accessories, ribbons, and they would consult and teach you how to, the best way to style your garments. Well, actually, she's wearing a chemise. It should come to about right here, because she's going to be wearing robe on a... Well, she's going to be wearing a dress over it. And that dress actually shows her forearms. Scandalous, I know. Actually, no, it wasn't that scandalous. And of course, this boning, having a lot of chest was not exactly the most... It wasn't exactly the point of this look. It was a very tight-fitting bodice with very large hips because you want to... I mean, hips kind of... Well, they imply fertility, if you know what I mean. So anyways, let's get started on actual coloring this in. get this part first. I mean, naturally, there'll be a bit of shadow and stuff around here. Oh yeah, I mean, everybody likes hips. Yeah. Everybody likes hips and all that stuff. Something about them not lying. I don't know. Modern music, so. Ooh, and the stockings too. I'm assuming she's going to be wearing stockings. Of course, if she's wearing a robe a la française, she probably is rich enough to have servants to do stuff for her too. So that's always something that's available. I might need to actually erase stuff. Like right here, maybe. And there. And of course she needs hair, but she hasn't had it styled yet. And honestly, I'm still debating what the hairstyle is gonna, her actual hairstyle is gonna look like in the finished version. Because honestly, actually, yeah, her hair should be going back because it needs to be put in some elaborate updo. I think actually showing the forehead was popular, but I'm gonna impose my modern fashion ideas on here. I mean, you shouldn't when doing historical stuff, but I'm going to because things are more fun that way. Maybe. That goes right there. Maybe a little bit more water to actually get thin, sort of wash type thing. Nose, eyes, there. Let's do that. Wait, that's sealing wax, that's not paint. And let's sort of, oh shit. Hold on. I don't want to drink too much today, so go easy on me with that. Redeem. Oh, Woozle, thanks for the raid. Coming in just as I'm chugging a beer. And before walking away from the computer to grab another beer. Yeah, today we're just going over 1770s fashion. I'm gonna go for a 1770s robe à la française. Yeah, come in and it's just quiet and chugging noises. Well, okay, robe actually means dress in French. But robe à la française specifically refers to a style that was popular in the a style that was popular in the 18th century, originally based off the robe volant. There are also different variations, like the robe a la or robe. I want to say a la Polonaise, but pretty much the Polish style dress, which was pretty much just with where they pull parts of the petticoat through the slits for the pocket, which I think looks really cool. Then there's the robe l'anglaise, which is English style, which is pretty much a with a. You'll see it when I actually get to the back gown, or that's another name for the robe a la française, because in the back, it's not fitted. There's these two big box pleats that just hang right down to the ground with a lot of fabric. But the robe l'anglaise, those pleats are actually stitched down, so it's form-fitting to the waistline. Then it bursts out. So, but they're all based off the robe volant, which was actually kind of a negligee, if you will. It's actually like, okay, the origins for this are a loose-fitting, comfortable house gown. If you can believe that. So, that's the funny thing. The robe à la française, the Marie Antoinette gown. Everybody thinks of it as the Marie Antoinette gown if they have like a surface level understanding. Well, if you look a bit more into history, then you think of the chemise à la reine. Chemise à la reine. Again, my pronunciation's horrible, so bear with me. If you know a little bit about fashion history, everybody thinks of the chemise à la reine or reine or à la reine. I don't know. As the Marie Antoinette gown, because that's what she was most famous for. Marie Antoinette was actually a bit daring with her less stuck-up gowns. I mean, everybody thinks Marie Antoinette when they see robe à la française, but at the time, everybody thought the chemise à la reine, however you say it, when they thought Marie Antoinette, because she was a rebel, in a way. As much of a rebel as you can be if you're the daughter of the Queen of Austria, or Empress of Austria, with getting married to. Yeah, she wasn't that much of a rebel, but she was a fashion rebel. Which I suppose her revolutionary nature didn't save her from the guillotine. But that's a bit, yeah. That's neither here or there, nor there. At the time, though, she was a. Where was I? That's kind of a bit of a getting sidetracked kind of topic. I think. Is it? I don't know. Where was I? I totally lost that train of thought. Anyways. Yeah, so pretty much the robe à la française was popular for most of the 18th century. Until the Revolution. Then, after the Revolution, it was counter-revolutionary. And wearing it could just get you sent to the guillotine for a while. Because it's counter-revolutionary. But then again, then you had the Marvelous. Okay, yeah, I'm really blanking on the actual how you say it. You also had like your fashion rebels during the Revolution who would go as far as to wear green ribbons, which was important because green was a symbol of being a royalist. But they would also wear like incredibly exaggerated fashions just to say like, screw you establishment, with the establishment being the revolutionaries chopping off people's heads. But yeah, French history is weird. It's very weird. I mean, what republic are they on currently? Like their 6th or 7th? I heard there's rioting, so probably there's going to be another one soon. I've mentioned the affair of poisons before, which is still fascinating, where there was an actual witchcraft scandal. It didn't turn into a full-on witch hunt because there was enough evidence of it that the king just freaked out and fifth. Yeah, it's the fifth. But yeah, the fair poisons, it didn't turn into a full-on witch hunt because there was so much evidence from the beginning that the king just sort of made everybody stop talking about it and imprisoned for life anybody who was involved, because it would be very, very bad to learn that his mistress was using very, very dark rituals to try and earn his love. I don't think she's actually executed. That's the thing. I mean, Lavoisin was executed, but not the mistress who was paying her to have dark satanic masses to woo the love of the king. Okay, and I'll literally be running to the kitchen because somebody had redeemed the bottoms up redeem, and I need another beer. So it'll be like 30 seconds. So anyways, where was I? I feel like I've been saying that a lot recently today. We'll put this one aside to dry for now. Just what I should expect from an escaped lab experiment. But anyways, I was talking about Lavoisin. But now let's focus on which side is cleaner. I told you I was running to the fridge to get another beer. Okay, first for this one, I need the face down here because I'm going to try for one of the over-the-top sort of, I mean, okay, everybody knows those, absurd, super tall hairstyles that you see in talking about pre-revolution France. The old regime, I believe. And let's see. I feel like I just absolutely dropped spaghetti on this, drawing these shoulders for some reason. Yeah, that kind of got away from me. And see, yeah, no, my French is horrible. I don't speak French, and I shouldn't pretend to. That's like a caveat every time I do a fashion stream, that I don't speak French, so watch at your own risk, francophones. At least I have better pronunciation than Ian McCullum, I think. Of course. Oh yeah, this is 1700s, the Age of Enlightenment. If somebody had pointy ears, the court wouldn't assume they're magical. They would just say, wow, they have pointy ears. That's weird. I think. Oh yeah. I mean, everybody knows Lafayette now. I hope. You do know Lafayette, right? I mean, it wasn't just the French. I mean, you can't forget Prussia. But then again, you've all heard my rant about Frederick the Great. No, that was von Steuben. Von Steuben was the Prussian who came over here. There's a few monuments to him around the country. I believe there's a big statue at Valley Forge, which I believe is where he actually joined the Continental Army and started drilling. But let's see. First, we want to make sure we actually get this body looking somewhat proper. Of course, the waist is a bit like, yeah, Lafayette. But there's a lot, if you go to DC, there's a lot of stuff named after Lafayette, it feels like. And let's get this actual dress looking robe a la France looking like fitting. And of course, the robe a la Francais, again, it wasn't one piece. It was actually, there's petticoats in between here and here, which is going to be the finished one. There are several added steps and layers. But oh yeah, Lafayette was French. I mean, with a name like Lafayette, he's either... I mean, if you met somebody named Lafayette in modern days, you'd assume, actually probably assume American, French, or African. Maybe Canadian. Actually, probably Canadian. Well, actually, no. There's a lot of places where Lafayette could be a name. I mean, the French were a colonial power, which means that that French names are common in a lot of places. Had a friend one time actually who was working somewhere, and this friend actually was a francophone. There had a francophone last name, but of course they were from Belgium. And of course, I don't know why. Actually, the story is really, really horrible if you think about it. But he was working, and he was filling out some paperwork with a coworker who was from I want to say the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And they look and see the last name, and they're like, oh, parlez-vous français? And a bit of historical background. You know what the Belgians did in the Congo, right? Not pretty. So naturally that turned everything super awkward. But anyways, very good friend. I haven't seen him in a while. Wonder what he's doing. Oh, thanks for the follow, Carvide. I don't know. I think... Let's see. Yeah, that they're one of those people who... Oh, hello, Carvide. Fil du Roi? Or Fil du Roi? Yeah, no, I don't speak French. Okay, and I'm trying to remember. This is supposed to be... We're going 1770s, because we want something that Benjamin Franklin would have seen coming overseas. I mean, well, I guess I'm not going to admit to being involved in any sort of crimes against the crown, but I think at 300 like almost 300 years old, the statute of limitation has passed, so I probably won't be hung by the King George. But say hypothetically be something that I would have worn if, as a 300-year-old elf, or no, 290-year-old elf, if I had been sent to Paris to negotiate on behalf of America. Let's add all these ruffles. Everybody loves ruffles. I hope. At least I do. This is gonna... yeah, the stream is probably gonna take a while just because of all the embellishments. All these ruffles going down to the floor. Oh, you know how... I did the math one time. It would take like 10 yards of fabric to make a robe a la française. Just for the actual robe and outer petticoat. Because you're wearing multiple petticoats underneath this. Because you want a few to actually help maintain the shape. And it's probably important to show that there's a pleat in this pack. There's a lot of fabric just billowing out from the back of this dress. Somebody's mowing outside. I don't know. I've actually been thinking about moving. So bear in mind if I ever need to take a week hiatus or something that I might be planning a move. Might. It's up in the air. I mean, I guess as a forest witch, even though I still get trees and birds and squirrels, it's still a bit too built up for me. I mean, I can't have a forge. Well, I can have a forge here, but it'd be a bit of a hassle. Let's see. Let's have a fan, because fans are fashionable. Fans were actually super cool. Oh, I should give myself drill curls. I should totally give myself drills. But that's not historically accurate. That's the problem. But I don't know, with the hand up here, that would be just super, super funny. What? I don't know. Oh, thanks, Attenborough. Good luck at class. But, okay, more ruffles. Everything needs more ruffles. Is that... sorry, is that why my final collection wasn't so popular? All the ruffles? I don't care. Everything needs more ruffles. You know I'm right. You know I'm right. Ruffles are love. Ruffles are life. And also, I'm still trying to decide, to have a contrasting petticoat or matching petticoat. You could do it both ways. That's the one thing I love about the robe a la française. It's pretty much a blank canvas for any sort of crazy stuff the dressmaker or marchand à la mode, or marchand de mode. Yeah, marchand de mode. So pretty much the merchant of style, I think is how that translates. Which just sounds cool. It's like, hello, I'm the merchant of style. And of course, you'd have a stomacher too, which would be very heavily embroidered or embellished. So I guess part of this is how you get from this to this. So naturally, you'd have at least one or two petticoats over your panniers. And every one of those petticoats has a slit in it, so you can actually use those panniers as pockets, which I think is awesome. Because all the pocket space in the world. And that includes this outer one too. There are slits in the side seam right here, so you can reach into those and store sewing kit, a fan, a dog, like a toy poodle maybe. Toy poodle would probably fit in these ones at least. There's a slight size discrepancy. But Yeah, just they don't make pockets like they used to. Nowadays, if you're a woman who wants pockets, your best bet is just buy men's clothes. Which kind of sucks. And if I remember correctly, I want to say that early 1700s was much larger designs, while later 1700s was much smaller, more delicate designs to show what the looms could accomplish. But first, let's think about the stomacher. Oh, and naturally, the stomacher would end like right here about, and a bit of décolletage, just a bit. I guess you can sort of see the inspiration for Beatrice's gown from Umineko, but not exactly. Ooh, and this part right here would be very tight fitting. Might need to tweak it a little bit. But you'd have a bunch of lace because you want to show off how much money you have. Because who doesn't love lace? And because I feel it's important. I guess I'll keep the bangs that I normally have. But the hair will be up. We'll just say I'm not as fashionable as people wearing weird stuff in their hair. Wait, no, that's literally Beatrice's hairstyle. I don't know, maybe I could add something in the hair. What would be a me thing to add? Ooh, we could have flowers. Let's have, I know, wolfsbane. Except I think that would be a felony to grow. It might, no, actually, they had a lot of problems with wolves at the time. I'm sure they have plenty of wolfsbane available. Let me add color to the hair first. So I can, no, actually, I probably shouldn't. I probably should wait till I have everything else figured out for how I'm going to go about the hair. Let's color those flowers at least. I mean, I'm a witch, so I should have hair full of poison because that would be pretty. Like just like a half crown of. Oh yeah, I suppose it is. Ooh, actually, let's go with like a dark purple. That could be very pretty. I mean, this is. I mean, I do try to match things. So we're gonna have contrasting out the outer robe should be purple. The petticoat should be green. And what should I do for the stomacher? So I guess actually once you're at this point, you have a couple petticoats on top of these. The first outer layer you would see would be a stomacher. It's pretty much a triangle shaped sort of thing of cloth, heavily embellished, that would be pinned to the front right here. So the stomacher would be like there and there. Because you see, this is open at the front. So you'd put on your, actually no, first you'd have this petticoat, which often would only be decorated on this part that you see right here. So we'll give the green, we'll have the petticoat be very, very elaborate. We'll have it have ruffles along the hem. And then we'll give it like these rosettes, ruffly rosettes. Because that could be fun. It feels like it'd be fun. So like this. And the outer dress will be purple. Ooh, I know I can do. Actually, what is the Four of Pentacles again? I should remember that off the top of my head. Yeah, no, Four of Pentacles, I believe, is... Okay, why can I not remember that? I should remember that. But it's confidence, and yeah, Four of Pentacles is a very suitable card for this look. Oh, and I even have it in the same sort of presentation. Okay, that's actually great. So we're going for the Four of Pentacles with this look. Actually, it's a Four of Pentacles dress because I need to show that witchiness. So we'll hit that with a light wash first and then let that dry for a bit. Okay, I want this brush. And by making this a witchy dress, we can play into Halloween. Everything I do is witchy, I suppose. I'm still not sure what I want to do for that, yeah, still not sure what I want to do for that, crap. Did I get some hair on this? Gross. Stomacher. That's the hard part, the stomacher. We'll let that dry for a bit. And of course, the outer dress is going to be purple. We'll make it a light purple. And then we can darken some areas. And yeah, this is going to be fun. Obviously, my color palette is very, very kind of very character driven, I suppose. If we go with this like lavender, then we can darken it for some flowers, which should be very fun. Flowers or vines? Definitely vines. Vines would be perfect. And we'll go for that light lacy sort of a late 1800s look. And of course, I want to tweak this hand. That hand does not look good. Of course, I need to be careful about the wet paint, but it is what it is. Let's see, holding it up there. Thumb should be inwards, which means the fan should be right here. And hiding the face. It's not perfect, but again, I guess my background is more fashion than... Yeah, no, that's actually horrible. I really need to just erase that hand and start over. Well, okay, if I'm holding it like that. Yeah, that hand would definitely sort of, see, there. Wrist would be like that, slight bend to the wrist. And with that bend, the thumb would be right there. Hand goes up a bit. Then yeah, I definitely haven't been doing my hand drawing reps. I'm probably gonna like burn through the paper before I even get this fan the way I want it. But I don't know. What do you all think? Ooh, posture check and hydrate. Thanks for the reminder. Eschaton channel. Okay, yeah, that hand just looks worse now. I need to tweak more and more and more. I mean, she should have a fan. Fans were very popular. We'll just have it not covering her face, but more out here, as like just sort of being used for gesturing. Sorry about that. I'm just... I guess it's always worth pointing out, or rather, using as an excuse the fact that I'm more focused around learning how to, or that thumb should be bent like there. I guess my background is more in making clothing than drawing hands. Of course, that's just excuses. Wow, that... Do I really need to have a hand? Yes, I do. I've been using the putting my hands into poses that are hidden behind the body too long as a cop-out. I mean, as a professional, somebody who claims to be a professional, I really should actually just make sure I can actually draw hands. Of course, you're going to be here for hours waiting me to try and actually draw a hand. Okay, I have no idea what that thing is supposed to be, but that is not a hand. You know what? Let's give her some hair color. Look at this with new eyes later. That's probably the best option. Because, I mean, she's still... Not only is she not dressed, she doesn't even have her hair. Colored. I mean, she has it drawn in. She just doesn't have it colored. So we'll just get this started with a quick... Hold on, I might need a bit more of that yellow ochre for down here. But get this in, get this, and now she at least has some hair color. And she's ready for servants or whoever to give her hair color. Hold on, she needs eye color first. And I believe right eye is green. At least it is in real life, if not my model. Of course, my model is actually a mirror image, apparently. but we're going for truer to life than the model even. It's kind of a dirty green, if anything. Still that hopeful look that she has. Actually kind of like that. Her smile and optimism, here to stay. Oh yeah. I get that reference. Elle est un drawing. Yeah, I don't speak French. I guess I need to repeat that often because I keep on trying to speak it when I don't. So let's go with the actual brocade that she has. Let's go add vines, because vines are always cool. At least I like vines. Of course, this would be a repeated pattern in real life. Hello, Ray Zero. And despite the fact that the flower, I'm going to... Well, actually, no, I should draw dark purples, like belladonna. Although belladonna is a bush, not a vine. That would be fitting for my... Having belladonna would be very fitting for my... a robe, a dress that I would be wearing. But right now we're just working on the print. Oh yeah, imagine the horror of being mistaken for a French person. Wouldn't be the first time. Just because I talk about fashion a lot. No, this could be embroidery too. That would be neat. Heavily embroidered robe à la française. Ooh, and the underside of this could be a dark green. This is getting fun. Oh, and I just thought of what I could use for... Well, actually, no, I don't have a silver. Closest I have to silver is silver leaf. Oh, I'm drawing hands, but they're bad hands. Oh yeah, were you here for that discussion? Yeah, these are not good hands. I'm sorry, but you are not in good hands. Of course, that last statement was directed at my drawing. Of course, wait, what? Green should be with silver. But I don't think I have silver. Unless... But I don't know where I put that stuff. I might have some silver leaf somewhere. But no, I guess for now, all I can do is focus on my ruffles. While debating what I should do about the silver leaf I'm considering adding. Maybe gold would work. Gold might be fun. But no, gold wouldn't really fit the color scheme as well. We can try it and see how it works, I suppose. Till now, let's add more vines. Always more vines. Because we still need to add the flowers too. Or the berries. With these proportions, actually, you'll have to look very closely to tell that they're whether they're flowers or berries. And then, hold on, first let's add... This will actually end up being very, very sumptuous if you really think about it. Let's get this dark. Very, very dark. Because we need to add berries and flowers. Because, I mean, I am a trope Everwood. So I should have a bit of a atropine bearing plants shown on my outfits. Plus we need to add a bit of shadow there too. But yeah, just little berries or flowers. Belladonna flowers are actually on the small side. So I guess to get this design, this would probably actually have to be embroidered, rather than the brocades that these were known for. Which actually, it's interesting. The company that made like a lot of the textiles for these robe à la française and other court dress, they're still actually in business. Like they were restoring, like at one point they were restoring like one of the, actually I think it was actually a palace in Russia. And so they contacted the weavers and they went to their archives and found the original, like, here's the pattern we made for this commission back in the 1700s. Super cool. And yeah, I forget. Actually, no, I think those were, I forget what those videos were, but saw some videos with talk, like interviewing. I mean, they're all in French, but they're very, very, very cool. Just, and imagine like working at a trade that people have been doing since before the French Revolution. That would just be incredibly neat to do. Like working at the same company that dressed Marie Antoinette. That would be a bragging point. Of course, or Madame de Pompadour. Maybe not her. I can't remember if they were that old of a company. But that would be like an incredibly cool job. Of course, boring because you're spending all day weaving. Like, the rate at actually getting these done is those fabrics done is like super slow. But it'd be very, very interesting to do. And what will the stomacher be? Let's actually make the stomacher silver. Oh yeah, for this factory at least. Well, on looms. They have a fancy looms for this kind of thing work. Stomacher will go for a silver. But for the pentacles, we're gonna go with gold. Of course, I'm not gonna work on those right away. Because I still want to add a little bit more oomph to these pieces right here. Mainly, let's just make this a bit more. Right here. Oh, and we also want to color in these ruffles. Give this a bit of a stronger border, if you will. Maybe try and make it look like there's almost like an ombre fabric being used. See, I believe to make this color I used, I want to say cerulean and alizarian crimson. I don't have much of it mixed up, but I remember how I made it. I can always make more. And bring this up. This way the thin line of ruffle trim matches the flowers, because that's probably for the best. Really wish I actually had the silver leaf. That would make this pop. But I don't. But that would be pretty. That would be very pretty. At least I feel it'd be pretty. And we're not even close. This is going to take a while just because of how fancy this can get. We have that very light lilac with the purple, darker purple trim. We have the green petticoat and the silver stomacher. But there's going to be gold embellishments on the petticoat. I mean, green and gold don't go together that well, but we're doing it anyways because I want to do it. But while we have it out, let's add a bit of color. Or not. Actually, no, we shouldn't. Forget I did that. We might want to actually make sure that the hands are properly proportioned at first. Like this one that should be holding a fan. Except that thumb should be down then. Except then that just looks weird. So we'll just forget she has a fan. She's gesturing in some way. That's what she's doing. It's some sort of gesture. And we just want to make sure that we get the details of the face right then, before we start coloring stuff in. This eye, which actually should go up to about here. And across. I mean, they probably think I'm wearing makeup, but really that's just my natural skin tone. And of course, have to be out in public, which is always unpleasant. So going for a bit of a haughty look. Like I don't want to be here. I just want to be I just want to figure out where Lady Oscar is so I can go drinking with her or something. Except Lady Oscar never existed, unfortunately. Which is all sorts of sad. Because I really liked that anime. Or manga. And what should the ornament be on top of the hairstyle? I have no idea. I mean, obviously this is some sort of braid. But what would be a suitable hair ornament for someone of my gravitas? I don't think gravitas is the right word, but it's definitely not the right word. Crap. No idea what I should have used for the hair ornament. I could do a cat, but I actually suck at drawing cats. Plus, at the period, it would have been a live cat that was, or formerly live cat that would have been stuffed, which is just kind of sad. So, not that. So, all this effort into the dress, and I'm struggling over what goes in the hair. If only I had a Marchand de Mode to help me with my fashion conundrum. Oh, and there'd have been all sorts of lace right here. Just oodles of it. Because I need to show off. Because I'm rich. And that would be very, very pricey. Probably should have wait till I have the arms painted in. Oh no, they would have, at this point, they would have used, I believe they would have used, no, they might have used wigs. I don't know. I wouldn't use wigs because actually I do cosplay occasionally, and that I would use wigs for that. So no, I can't say I wouldn't use wigs. See, actually, yeah, that hand. Thumb should be right here. I guess we're going a bit fashion proportions. I have no idea why that hand is raised. That's something I really am going to need to deal with. Yeah, no, that hand is, no. We'll just do this. What's she crafting now? And of course, we need to start thinking about the background too. Ooh, that could be fun. Let's just say, hypothetically, this is going to make things much harder for me, of course, but I guess it's the best way to show off, yeah. Because these are very, very elaborate gowns with two big box pleats in the back. Although it might be more funny just to have her not appear in the mirror, but I'm not a vampire. That would be funny, though. Just hair going up. Something like this. Oh, thanks for the follow, Tisa girl. Yeah, those large mirrors are very, very luxury item stuff, but cool. They're very cool. Yeah, I shouldn't spend too much time just staring at the paper trying to decide what weird thing to put in her hair. Because she does have places to be. Although, we'll just give her a bunch of ribbon, silver ribbons, and ruffles, and other. Okay, we'll literally just scribble on the stomacher. Like this. Her marchand de mode took the easy way out. Add a little bit of lace. And there. At least that much is okay. And it's like, oh, throw ribbons at the problem and it'll go away. Trust me on this. Or just imagine crap, what's her name again? My memories, her name is horrible. Anna Wintour. Is that? Yeah, I believe I believe that's who I'm thinking of. Just being like, yeah, that when I think like when I remember taking history and learning about that whole job field, I was just imagining like a Rococo Anna Wintour. Of course, she would have. Well, actually, no, that's The Incredibles. Would have hated this. I'm getting my fictional depictions of famous people mixed up with my IRL versions of them. Because, oh yeah, I believe to explain to non-fashion people, the best way to describe Anna Wintour is, if you remember that lady from The Incredibles, the costume designer, that's who she was. That character was based off Anna Wintour. Unless I'm mistaken, or getting people mixed up, which is probable. So, in the weirdness of my brain, the real life version and the Incredibles character are getting mixed up with a fictional Marchand de Mode, and telling her that no, that robe a la française is not going to do because that cape is just going to get caught in a jet intake. Which, if you think about it, my character, no, this is a witch. So she's flying and ends up, somehow there's a jet in the 1870s France. She's in trouble. Just like, right into the jet intake. Not a pretty way to go. At all. So maybe she should get a robe Langlaise without the big box plate down the back. I mean, wouldn't you? I don't know. I've done crazier things. I think. And of course, we're already dealing with the fact that I don't know how to draw hands And I've told myself I'd stop using the cop out of hiding them behind the body. Like, yeah, no, that hand just keeps on getting weirder and weirder every time I mess with it. No, it's a great idea if you're just making stuff for, like, design this. It's like, oh, well, okay, I can't get that hand right, so I'll just hide it. Maybe she's looking at sheet music. That's what she's doing. Yeah, that could work. Oh, it's round 2 of the VTuber choir, which would put this in a modern day sort of thing. So it's kind of just like, well, doing a choir, so have to dress up in choiry clothing. And it's like, oh, well, I have that dress from 100 years ago. Opera. Oh no, the audience is in for an unpleasant surprise then. I am not an opera singer, or anywhere close to one. Which is why she looks so angry. She's being forced into it, and is going to make a fool out of herself. That's what's going to happen. I'm glad I'm glad I drew an angry expression, because that would be grounds for getting angry. It's like, I can't sing opera. What are you doing? Like, what are you making me do? Like, this is stupid. Like, oh yeah, like that sportscaster character from Frasier. This is bullshit. This is absolute horseshit. This is unbelievable. And of course, that character usually says all that before, like, when he's lost something and right before he finds it. Yeah, come for the fashion illustration. Stay for the references to 90s, 2000s sitcoms, except I don't actually watch that many sitcoms. Oh, actually, that color is way too heavy. It's best, that color looks way too dark and doesn't do a good job of showing off my unhealthy pale pallor. Very, very not a good choice. Maybe if I do it right here and water it down a bit. Get that ear, get the nose, and I guess too much graphite on the paper, so it gets a little bit muddy, but that's okay. I guess I want to get that maybe a little bit lighter for that arm. That arm is too dark for me. And I guess I probably should have show off the back. Because I actually want something a bit more watery than... Because it is the background. But oh yeah, having the mirror lets me show off like how much fabric is being used for the gown. Good on me for thinking of doing that. Totally just self-promotion there. It's like, yeah, I can do. Of course, I want that a bit more watery. And get that ear in there. And I still haven't put any thoughts towards the hair. Although I suppose I can draw those a few more of those wolfsbane flowers for the crown that I for some reason have. Imagine that, a crown of wolfsbane. You need to be careful with that because that stuff can actually like really knock you out if you ever mess around with it for some reason. Just a warning, if you're ever messing around with wolfsbane flowers or wolfsbane plants, be careful. Be careful with your wolfsbane. And let's color in this hair now. I mean, we'll assume I'm adding in a bit of hair powder. In a bad way, because if you get too knocked out, that kind of implies that you've been poisoned. But it won't kill you. Actually, it will kill you if you aren't careful. Because it's literally, another name for the plant is literally Queen of Poisons, is the best way to describe it. It's called wolfsbane because it was used for pest control, killing wolves. So it's the wolf's bane because it kills wolves and also people. Because, I mean, if it can kill a wolf, it can kill a person. So, Monk's Hood, Wolfsbane, Queen of Poisons. It's called a lot of things, actually. And of course, that made it a very witch-like common plant associated with witches, because witches poisoning was was viewed as part of something witches did, because they were experts in herbs, which included the harmful herbs. However, and I still have no idea what crazy thing I'm going to put on the head. I'm taking any suggestions at this point. They have to make sense at least, but I probably should make sure that's a bit more watery. Because it is in the background in the mirror. Laurels. I don't think laurels would fit is the problem. It's not a victory. It would stick with the vine, but she clearly isn't happy about singing this opera, so she's clearly not looking out for a victory. She's just kind of waiting for her downfall when people realize that she can't sing, and what is she doing there? This is not a happy person. This is not a happy Atropa because she is aware she's about to make a fool of herself. Going from happy, carefree Atropa, still getting dressed in her underwear, to angry Atropa, sight reading the music and having no idea what she's about to actually have to sing. A bit of contrast there. Where is light coming from? Okay, it should be, shadow should be around here. Let's actually dull these colors even more. Okay, we have that mirror right up to here. I have no idea what I'm putting in the background of the mirror. Yeah, no, it's... Ooh, we can add a bit more shading, actually. I mean, ships were a common thing to see people put in hair, but I don't think a ship would fit. A rattlesnake, maybe? But no, I'm not sure I could paint one that well. Because no, if the backstory is she's there as like an American envoy, a rattlesnake would fit perfectly. Ship, like a sailing ship, like a model ship. They would do all sorts of crazy stuff with hair. A rattlesnake would fit in a way. Because for one, she's already covered in poisonous stuff. But also, if she's an American, rattlesnake was supposedly like one of the animals that symbolized the American colonies because they just want to be left alone. But if they have to, they'll attack. That's why it appeared on the first flag of the United States Marine Corps, the Gadsden flag, which is still in pretty common use. Because at one point that was also one of the flags for our country. Because that was the American ideal of just don't tread on me and everything's fine. Just leave us alone. I mean, that was it was a very American ideal. But I suppose not being too fancy is also part of the American ideal at the time. So we'll just give her no hair ornament. Even if it means this just being a clone of Beatrice's outfit. And let's just sort of fill in the back a little bit more. Have it so you can see garden outside that window. Like, let's say hypothetically it's in some sort of a, maybe like a hall of mirrors type of thing. Of course, that means I'm going to have to draw. Yeah, no step on sneck, I guess, is the overall theme of this look. And hold on, I need to grab something. Well, I need to grab a couple things quickly. It'll be a minute because I'll probably have to search for the jar. Okay. And back. First of all, we need to this isn't the exact color I'd want, but this is a Florentine gold color. It's not perfect. Really, I need more metallics if I'm gonna keep doing these old-timey fashions. But I did this was gonna be Four of Pentacles themed. So successful and confident. I feel. Oh, I think that might be part of the problem is the color might have separated a bit. I'm gonna have to go back through and really give this a shake up. Like shake well before use. Ignore the weird noises. That's just me shaking this liquid gold leaf. And here we go. Yeah, that's much better. I really need silver leaf, actually. Silver is a much better color for this. And immediately wash this brush because this stuff is not gold leaf. It's is not watercolor. It's gold. Yikes. That's okay. That's forget that happened. Like actually, let's see if I can. Okay, that just ruined it. Oh well. We'll just ignore that happened. It's a happy accident. It means that we're going to be trimming this actually to get rid of that gold leaf, that gold paint spill. Actually, we'll just say the edge of the smear is way too... It gets larger at the base, actually. Like this. It's like a hull of gold. Yikes. This stuff is horrible. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it. I should not have done this. Massive regret. Hopefully nobody questions why this whole edge is gold now. Of course, if they watch the video, they'll be able to tell quite fast that, yeah, this was just me. But I don't know, I think the gold looks cool. If we have the whole, everything except the mirror gold. It'll look fancy. It'll be like the Sun King's court. I might need to come back to it at some point and add more details to the gold. Maybe paint over with acrylic, but it's fine. It's totally fine. I wouldn't worry about it if I were you. It looks very, very fancy, which fits in with what we're painting, I suppose. Hopefully this doesn't ruin my brush. And let's just get this over here. And yeah, we'll just fill in this whole section and hope we don't get too much spilling. And naturally gonna have to be very, very careful. Yeah, this stuff is horrible. I should have just figured out where I had my actual gold leaf at this point. Yeah, it's a very golden room. We'll just say that. Just try and get this hand in here. Like this. And there. Yeah, this gold paint is just very nerve-wracking. I mean, it's kind of fun, I suppose. It's different from what I normally do, but it's not as forgiving as watercolors. It's definitely not as forgiving as watercolors. Even the cleanup is going to be a bit, just a bit. Yeah, this stuff, it drips everywhere. But still, it kind of does show off. It works for what I'm going for, at least, which is Rococo in a Baroque palace, because the palace would have been designed in the Baroque era for France. I mean, I've never been to Versailles, but I'm imagining something similar. Just try and get this part there to the edge of the mirror. And then that puts the edge of the mirror down here. Yeah, I probably should use a skinnier brush for that. I feel. Maybe. Oh, gold leaf is completely different. This is not gold leaf. This is a gold looking paint. Gold leaf is much in a way, easier to get precisely. You just paint the areas you want gold leaf with glue, add a coat, burnish, add a few more layers, and then it's gilded. Very... You just need to make sure you get everything. I don't know, it's been a while since I've done any gilding. So you just try and get these borders filled in. Yeah, that getting close right there is going to be tricky. But getting there, I should be able to manage. Just very slowly. But yeah, just... Oh, I spilled a little bit of gold paint, so I'm painting everything gold. It's like a weird King Midas version of a Rolling Stones song. I see a white paper and I have to paint it gold. No colors anymore, I want them to be gold. Oh well, it's kind of worth it. I just need to be careful with this. And that right there. I mean, I want to make sure this is just... Well, in a way, it kind of shows off the lace a bit more. I just need to be very careful right here. I guess the more I'm concentrating, the quieter I'm talking for some reason. I don't know why. Right here around the face, though. Just very, very careful. And rotate this slightly so I can get a better angle. And just there. And maybe add a little bit more here so I can get a solid edge on this mirror. And yeah, there, gold. And I really need to make sure this brush gets here because this stuff is not watercolor. It's something that smells kind of like it should be used in a ventilated area. Where's the cap either? Also. Yeah, actually that's a concern. Where's the cap? Yeah, that's literally just had the cap. It's not like it could have. Oh, it got. Yeah, sorry. Oh, that was just my laptop. Don't worry. And we'll let this dry for a little bit. And we can come back to our underwear picture. So anybody who's coming back and they see this instead of gold leaf, well, it's not gold leaf. But anyways, we shouldn't neglect our underwear pictures because, I mean, that this is the foundation on which all that annoyed gold leaf splendor is built off of. I mean, panniers. Well, oh yeah, they're tied at the waist. That's the thing. So let's actually include the ties. Just like pockets. And these are pretty much pockets. You can store stuff in them. It's amazing. I mean, who doesn't who doesn't love large pockets where you can store all sorts of stuff? And let's actually focus more on the eyes because and she looks so naive. I don't know why. It's just like she doesn't know all the hardships that are ahead with trying to decide, oh yeah, actually no. That's the thing. There was a style of flintlock in this period made for concealed carry for men and women, but actually the name for it came from like a hand warmer, like a muff that you'd wear if you're like riding in a coach on the way back from like a party. So you'd have well, men, they called it a boot pistol, women, a muff pistol. So you'd store it and you'd keep it in your hand warmer, your muff. I mean, it's like an earmuff, except for your hands. It's pretty much a big furry thing that you hold on to. And then if a highwayman tries to accost you, you draw your muff pistol and shoot him. Because, yeah, that's what you do when you're attacked by highwaymen. Because you don't want to stand and deliver and probably get murdered. I mean, especially not when you have a pistol right there. I mean, your Dick Turpin's only gonna get off one shot. Well, he might have his band. And I'm assuming there's gonna be garters underneath that, but and this should be a seam center front and one center back. Well, actually, it'd be spiral laced in the back by a servant because you're rich. You're wearing a robe à la française. You should have a servant. That's just how things like this work. I mean, you can't do it yourself because you're wearing a massive, heavy garment full of whale bones. Let's see, and you should have eyebrows too because most people have eyebrows, unless you're not careful with flammable items or you accidentally pluck them off. But for an underwear picture, this feels okay at least. Let me grab a bottle of ink from right here. Yeah, and writing labels. Because you need to have it labeled. Of course, you need to be careful with this paper because it's rough watercolor paper. And this is a delicate pen nib. I believe it's an accent grave on the egg. Robe à la française. Yep, and there's a seam. Yeah, this watercolor paper is really tough on the pen nib. Yeah, and don't forget that accent aigu. And underpinnings. Yeah, I guess watching me write can't be too exciting, but it's still fun. Yeah, yeah. Just more complaining about the paper. And all those ends right back to back. And apparently I need to write that S still. There. Robe à la française. Underpinnings. 1770s. So that's about done. We'll call this one done. This one, though, is this dry? Feels like it's dry. Okay. Can we write on this gold? I don't know. It's been a while since I've used this. No, we can't. Maybe it's not completely dry. It's just scraping it away. That's annoying. Let's just get this much at least colored in. And focus on bringing out some of the details of this dress. And, of course, of our wanted singer, opera singer right here. So let's just start adding details to these eyes. Make the eyelashes bigger because everybody likes big eyelashes. At least that's what my mascara company wants me to believe. And there. Add a few more details and stuff to the hair. Add this. And this. And of course, we want to actually show that this is a braid. Oh yeah, and some of that paint over there is apparently still wet. Good to know. And just all of these wolfsbane flowers in the crown. All of it. Just filling in little minor details. But overall, this is pretty fancy looking. Just, it's all shiny. It's all shiny and everything. You know, you probably can add a bit of a frame to this mirror. But of course, I think that's more scraping away at the leaf or the paint than it is working on top of it, but that's fine. We want to make this a clear barrier. And I'll admit, I'm probably going to trim some stuff later. So I suppose the one that'll end up actually gracing the pages of social media will have a few things I can't do at this table done to it. But yeah, it might be upside down, but don't worry about that. Just a minor thing. Just sharpen this right here. Sharpen these sleeves. All the usual. Add some more lace. just bring this arm out much more. Ooh, this gold is actually, I'm actually liking this gold now. It's growing on me. I guess there's a bit of a learning curve to it, I suppose. But we still want to emphasize the weight of the silk, so make this line much thicker. And this line too. Oh, posture check and hydrate. Thanks. Let's just bring this row of ruffles a bit more into the forefront. Oh, I probably should close this ink while I'm working on this so I don't accidentally knock it over and completely ruin everything. That would be horrible. That would be very horrible. That would be bad. We'll just get these darker and get this much darker. I believe I mentioned this before, but these actually would be closed with pins, which is why the underwear is called underpinnings. I know I've mentioned that in previous streams at least, but it bears repeating. So, like this stomacher would be pinned right to the corset or the stays. And same with the top part of the robe a la française. Of course, makes dressing an absolute hassle. But you're paying somebody to dress you, so it's fine. Then just get this a bit more. Ah, this almost feels like the longest single drawing I've done on stream. Of course, I guess I kind of draw fast and sloppy, so it sort of makes sense. Let's just get this a little bit darker, show shadows. And then let's add a window panes in the back to show the nature. The fact that there's a window right outside. Well, actually, wait, no, that window pane wouldn't go over her. That's the thing. Shit. Eraser, eraser, eraser. There. There. And now just make sure these are evenly spaced. Like this. Yeah, this look is actually, I don't know. I guess I'm actually liking this one. I'll have to trim it a bit, but that's fine. That's more than fine. Actually, I might want to make that hand pop a little bit more. And write the caption. or the label, if you will. '70s. Then robe. It's French, so from what I understand, you pronounce everything like a dog who has peanut butter stuck to the roof of his mouth. And before I get a bunch of angry French people in my comments. Robe à la accent grave, française. Or française, if you ignore the little I do know about pronouncing French. A little bit more ink for the accent aigu. There. I'll probably have to trim this up a bit, but just to get rid of all that white space. But for all intents and purposes, this feels like it's done. So, I believe that's my fashion history drawing for robe à la française. So, I guess it's contemporary to the last fashion history stream I did, which was American Revolution menswear, which actually hopefully should be up. It's probably around here somewhere. So, who should we raid? Oh, the lighting I have for drawing does not show this that well. Actually, maybe if I have this. It's probably the... Oh, thanks for the follow. You station... You shape there. Eshaton channel. Eshaton channel. Forgive me for mispronouncing everybody's names, which I'm sure I'm doing. So, are there any recommendations for raid targets? Definitely want to raid some people. I believe... Does anybody have anybody they'd want to see raided? I'm definitely open to suggestions. I don't know. For some reason, they don't all pop up in my Twitch feed thingy. Wait, no, that's going right to somebody's stream. Crap, I didn't mean to click that. I'm just looking for people to raid. Thinking. Wait, why isn't it clicking back over? Don't tell me my computer's freaking out. Oh no, please no. Margot's on Thief. Minky. I can't recall who Minky is, but I'll see who that is. Minky Wool. They're playing Narcissus. Let's see, who else? I guess we can read Margot. She's playing Splatoon. Or there's a few other people coming up. Charlotte. Oh yeah, she's... doing just chatting. And I believe there's also...
We're Eternals. We came here to protect humans.
It was playing... It was... Sorry, I was trying to see what she was doing, and it played a trailer. Let's read Professor Bloom. His stream is just starting. Oh, wait, yeah, no, I misspelled it. Right now, he has us just chatting. So, let's go read Professor Bloom. Oh, wait, no, he's doing I think he's doing a Edgar Allan Poe, which means definitely worth reading. I'm probably wrong, but no, I could swear he's doing Edgar Allan Poe. I mean, I've done Edgar Allan Poe reading streams in the past, so I'm totally going to read another fan of Poe. So, let's go. Really just reading him because I love Edgar Allan Poe, so the ulterior motives might exist. So, raid message. The coven is upon you. Or maybe just do nevermore. Glad I could... thank you. The only O-Ray. And let's raid. I guess raid message is nevermore. Although it doesn't make sense, but we'll do it anyways. And let's go.